So you're welcome to my healthy food place, and you're welcome particularly to today's life. And if you are just coming across this place for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because it's all about wellness, naturalist, through natural foods. And so today is an interesting subject I want to talk about. And you can't say that I have talked too much about this matter, this subject on the table today again. Yes, if you have been going through my videos, you may conclude that I seem to have talked more on the subject of sleep than most subjects. And of course, the reason is because it is one of the highest or most frequently occurring challenges in this journey for me. And so I like to talk about what I know, what I've been through, and that's, I'm still even going through occasionally. Sleep. Sleep is sweet. Sleep is a healer. I mean, deep sleep, quality sleep is one of the biggest challenges the older adults are having. That's why I want to talk today on 8 occasions when we wake up. I don't want to say you, because we are all in it together. When we wake up and finding it difficult to go back to sleep, and some of the tips that helps. I have here some of my essential oils, and I'll be sharing it as we go. I'll be showing us some of them as we go. And there are a few things I want to say about the sleep subject. You will remember, or you may recall, that several years as we are growing up, sleep was never a problem. Anywhere you lie down, you sleep. Someone like me, I remember one particular case, I won't forget it. When I lay down, it's an example of deep sleep, on a foam as a teenage girl several years ago. I think I had issue with someone about a foam. I mean, this mattress we use in sleeping. And so maybe the person was waiting for me to sleep, or I don't know what happened. But it was so sad that I woke up that very day in the morning to find out that I was sleeping on the bed cement. The foam had gone without my knowledge. And when did this happen? While I was asleep. The person could, roll me down to the floor, bare floor, cement, and took away the foam to an unknown place. So there was no way I could, hold her responsible for that foam, because I had no evidence that she was the one that took the foam. It's a very good example of deep sleep. And I tell you, it's just almost as good as death. And so, but today, such things cannot happen again with me or even any older adult. It cannot happen. Why? Even while the person is still on the doorstep, you're already awake. That's part of aging. And so if you know any elderly person who is in the 50s or 60s, you need to invite that person to this life, or share the life to that person, so that you come and take some experience that I've gathered over the years. When we have a good sleep, when you sleep properly, you look younger, you feel happier, your appetite is sharper. As a matter of fact, everything about you is better. And that is why it is better to guard against anything that robs you of your sleep. And I need to remind us again, anything that robs us or tampers with our sleep is threatening our life. Yes. And so that's why I like to talk about this subject oftentimes. Again and again, check my page. on my channel, you will see several topics again and again on the subject of sleep. And so we go. What are the occasions? Occasion when you wake up, either at odd hours. There are several hours. Like myself, it could be maybe 11 o'clock if I had gone back to sleep early. I mean before 12, or sometimes after 1, or at other time after 3. There are those people that know about the clock and how it goes, and how the body clock and the rest of it. That's not what we are talking today. But those times when we wake up, what are the most common occasions? Number one thing that normally happens with older adults, when one of the occasions is when the blood sugar is high. As a matter of fact, it took me several years to get to know this. Yes, and it was my own experience. Yes, if you are often waking up at certain hours of the night, maybe before 1 o'clock or thereabouts, and you just suddenly wake up from your sleep, and you notice you can no longer go to sleep. It can even happen at any time of the day. And now, one of the occasions that can happen with older adults, those in their 50s, in their 60s, some people may say they don't have this problem, but this message is for those that, it's targeted at those that have it. And so, if you have it, what do? And you suspect blood sugar. And why would you suspect blood sugar? You may suspect your blood sugar may be high if, okay, thank you, hallelujah. Thank you, Kuriya, yes, hallelujah, you're welcome. So you may suspect your blood sugar is high if you look into what you had during the day. If there are too many carbohydrates, for instance, if you had eaten late, or if you had not had sufficient movement during the day, if you had consumed simple sugars during the day without sufficient movement to burn them, sometimes you could just, the body will be trying to move like a vehicle, like a car. The body will be trying to take off, but the insulin resistance, we hold it there. And so sometimes when it tries and tries, just nothing to do than to wake you up. Yes, the journey could not continue, because sleep is a journey that you go, you travel, and you have to come back. And so if the fuel is not sufficient, if what the body needs to come back is not there, the body won't take off. God is so wise in this. And I really want to say, I'm grateful to God. God is so smart and so wise. He's wiser than all of us when it comes to things like, because the body won't take off. Now, if you are going on a journey and you discover that the car is not in order, that's what the body does. You check the car, you check the tires, you check the fuel, you check everything. That's what the body does. And so when it wants to move, and it sees that one side is not okay, that's why some people go into coma. I've known diabetics who went into coma for days, for 3 days, and for several days they were waking, praying and wishing that they should wake up. They never woke up. They slept and slept and slept and slept until eventually when they managed and woke up, guess what? The blood sugar was still high. And that's why it's something we need to be afraid of. Well, let me not use the word afraid of. It's something we need to be aware of. Blood sugar. And so in that case, most of what I do is I take my mint oil. I have the bottle here. Because if you're not on medication like myself, it's difficult for you to be looking for what to take. But if you're on medication, maybe you run and take your medication to lower your blood sugar. But I tell you, and I'm repeating it, I'm not on any medication, whether for blood sugar, or whether for blood pressure, or whether for arthritis, or whatsoever. And so most times when I suspect that the blood sugar is high, I have essential oils. This mint essential oil is good to aid things that will quickly, get things moving, and is very good for other menopausal symptoms. So I just drop 1 or 2 drops on my palm and begin to inhale it. and use it for deep breathing. It's here. And at other times, this one is a recent one. I'm talking of the oregano oil is also good. It has antibacterial properties, just like the mint essential oil. These are essential oils, highly volatile oils. And so when I suspect sometimes, I rarely use this because it's very, very good for bacteria and for pains. But the one I use frequently is the mint essential oil. But the cinnamon oil is also very good, but I also rarely use it. But the one, look at this, is cinnamon oil, essential oil, very powerful oils. You don't need to eat anything, and you just inhale them. Start inhaling them. After inhaling and doing deep breathing like 14 times, sometimes you just, it may not happen immediately. The blood sugar may not happen immediately, but over time, inflammations will start to go down, because inflammation is a forerunner rather. And so when the inflammation starts to go down over time, the body kicks off. That's the vehicle is ready to take off. It may take like 35, 40 minutes, or sometimes 1 hour. And sometimes after doing that, I had to get up and start taking water and then massaging the feet, doing some other things that will make like you're helping the body you are working, your body is trying to make things, let the place be hot and warm so that it looks like it's not just dormant. And over time, some of those things you're able to push the insulin resistance. But there are things you can take that are available for reducing blood sugar fast, if it's blood sugar. But usually, I don't go for that at odd hours. Something like cloves. You can start chewing your cloves. Cloves can reduce your blood sugar very fast. I always have it by my bedside. You can take things like, you can make even the cinnamon tea can help if it's insulin resistant. Even the apple cider, I have all of this. But at odd hours, you're always afraid to take something like myself, orally. Rather try to bear it and wait till the next day. And so I like to do things to apply things on the body externally, inhalation, and just like that, except when it has to do with drinking water. And we are coming to that. And so use some of these oils to inhale, it works. And the way it works is to reduce inflammations. When the inflammations are down, when the inside of the body is heated. This is a hot oil. The mint essential is a heating oil. And when the body is heated up, when the body is heated up, things starts moving. So that is it. And at other times also, when you could wake up, and in the case of the blood sugar, surprisingly also, there are some people when their blood sugar is high, that's when they sleep the more. I think I don't tend to like that. I've met people, I've counseled people also whose blood sugar was quite high and it's only sleep. Insulin resistance is dangerous. So I'm talking of the one that's waking you up. It happens to me. And the other one is blood pressure. Sometimes also blood pressure could wake people up at night. The blood pressure is high and you're not even aware. And what should you do? Should you go for medication at maybe midnight, or what should you do? So there are a lot of things you could do in addition to massage. You can also take lavender oil. Lavender oil is good. You can pair it with a drop of olive oil. The only olive oil, the one I bought, is not, I don't know, I'm still studying it. So many fake things on the market. I don't know how good it is. It doesn't seem to be like the original olive oil, cold press, because these days I find it hard to buy olive oil because too many fakes outside. I just got this one a few days ago and I've been studying it. I'm afraid of it. It doesn't seem like a good one. And so you can make it, pair it with the lavender oil, lavender essential oil. Look at it. It's very, very good. These are odd hours of the night. It supports your liver. It supports not only your liver, it also supports other internal organs and help relaxation. I've personally used it to do to foot soaking, and I observed that it lowers the blood pressure. Another oil that has positive effect is the grapeseed oil. I don't know whether it's here. The grapeseed oil. Okay, the grapeseed oil is another oil that is also good for those with high blood pressure. I mean, you can just massage your hands and your feet. That's what I'm saying. Using the olive oil instead of the coconut. I use coconut oil most of the time because I don't have issue with blood pressure. The issue that usually affects me are those that has to do with elevated blood sugar, but I don't have issue with blood pressure. And so for that, olive oil is always recommended and always better for those managing high blood pressure. In case you want a carrier oil that you can use to just have a 2 or 3 drops, massaging your hands, massaging your feet. They are so connected to most of the nerves in our body. They are so powerful. That's the point I want to make here. And so just the way it works with blood sugar, it works. But in this case, you don't have to use the mint oil. The mint oil is not what I would suggest for those with high blood pressure. As a matter of fact, if you use it frequently, it can raise your blood pressure. The same thing with the oregano oil. They have the same effect. If you use it, it may raise blood pressure depending on how your blood pressure is at that time. So it is for blood sugar. For blood pressure, the lavender oil is okay. And at other times also, you could wake up, apart from being woken up because of blood pressure or blood sugar, for instance. There are also other times when you could wake up as a result of indigestion. Yes, you have eaten, you have enjoyed yourself during the day. It can happen to anybody. And then you just notice that you really enjoyed yourself. And as you are trying, the body is trying to take off on the journey. Some foods, maybe proteins or whatever. It's better if it's protein even. So you notice that things are not, the body is not really connecting. It's not really taking off. The vehicle is not taking off. You try to sleep, it's not connecting. If it's indigestion, it works. I use turmeric essential oil. This is turmeric oil. I take it and put on my belly button, round, gently. Sometimes I also use apple essential oil. I have that one too. Apple oil, it works. Look at it. This is apple oil. Apple essential oil. I just take it, mix it. It's better to put it with sometimes with a little carrier oil. Those with blood pressure, it's better to use olive oil. Olive oil is also good for diabetics also, those who are pre-diabetic or whatever, because it helps to improve blood circulation. It has less saturated fat. And there are times when actually it is all you need, whether you're diabetic or pre-diabetic or whatever. All you need is olive oil and not even coconut oil, especially if you are already dealing with high blood cholesterol. For instance, now, as I told us that I got this olive oil, I always like to have it, but honestly, I've not used it since because it's my first time. It doesn't look or smell or feel like the original one. That's why I keep off olive oil for a long time. I prefer the coconut oil because I always trust the source and I know it's not adulterated. So, but most of the time also, it's good to have these two oils around you. If you suspect your cholesterol is high, because your cholesterol being high today does not mean that it's going to be high tomorrow. There are times when you could suspect that your cholesterol is high. It's not something that to make you begin to agitate or worry. I do have that feelings. And over time too, with a slight more dietary modification and adjustment, the thing comes to normal. It goes up and down. There's no time you run a test and everything will just be 100%. There's nothing like that. It cannot be. Something must be a little up, a little down. That is what life is. And so if you suspect that, you can take a little warm water. I always have my flask by my side, my bedside, and my warm water flask. And I want to also encourage you, you should get yourself a good flask. whereby before you go to bed, you put boiled water in the flask and put it by your bedside. Yes, in case you need to drink water at an odd hour of the night, because such times will always come up. If it's indigestion, for instance, you may need to get up and take a little glass of water to support it, because it definitely aids digestion. And then use the oil, this turmeric oil, if you have it, essential oil. And now these essential oils that I have, or I do use, or I'm showing you, this is not to say that these are the only oils available for these things. There are so many other essential oils which are even more, with better results than the ones I'm showing you. But I'm only showing you the ones that I use and that have been effective. So when you go to get your oil, you can go for any other oil that may have the same effect. So don't say, oh, Mama, oh, we didn't see this one. No, I don't want to hear that. All you need to do is just get yourself those ones that have the effect. There are several of them. I do have other oils like jasmine oil for stress. I do have mustard seed oil. I do have thyme essential oil. There are several of them I have used. I have used a lot of them at different occasions. And it's not all the time that you have them available. Yes. So when you wake up at odd hours, essential oil helps a lot. Because if you say, if it's blood sugar and you go and eat something that lowers blood sugar, you may become hungry again. So you don't have to start eating by 1 a.m. or 12 p.m. midnight or 2 a.m. or whatever. You don't have to start eating at that time. And so you need to take, but warm water, you can always take warm water. Don't make the mistake of taking cold water. I'll share an experience with you, if time permits, towards the end of this, towards the end, if I have the time, of cold water, so that you don't just go and take it. So you can also be woken up as a result of water shortage. Now I'll give you, how does it happen? The essence of this is for you to know these occasions and understand that it is not at all times that your body is asking you for one thing. All the body wants to get is a balance so that it can take off. And so sometimes maybe you had gone out on shopping, or you've gone out on other occasions and you hadn't taken enough water. Maybe you didn't have enough time, or you didn't have access or whatever. Then when you came back, you didn't even take sufficiently to cover for the ones you've not taken. You just took a little water and then you ate. Yes, after eating, you go back, and then when you are about to sleep, there is water shortage. I told you our body doesn't want to begin to discuss with you about water. Once there's that water shortage, you're going to wake up. And some of the symptoms, the signs, when I know that water, maybe the nose is like blocked. The body is trying to pull out mucus. Or, when you are sleeping, the body is working. So when it's trying to remove those mucus, and there's no water to help to loosen them, it's like your nose is blocked, everywhere is blocked. There's no water. That's one of the signs I know happened. It happened to me a few days ago, around I think 5 to 5, or that's always the time our body detoxes, to 4:30 to 5. So the nose starts like it's blocked everywhere, stuffy, and sometimes. This is one of the signs. I'm not saying it's the only sign. So, and at other times, you just lie down, you're about to sleep, you started yawning, small time you are yawning, and a lot of things like that. Stress. Now, that one can cause by stress, and also you need water. The body maybe you be so tired, and then you went and ate something that takes a little time, or a little bit difficult to digest. It's not something the body can just use, like liquid or fluid. And so when it gets in there, water is not sufficient, shortage. So you just lie down, you are turning on the bed, you are yawning, you are stretching, you are doing this. Sometimes maybe water shortage. And so that one, you don't need anything. All you need to do is go take your flask, your hot water flask, and then take a glass of warm water and sit for a while. You'll be able to go to bed. If you have supplied the body, the moment you supply what the body is asking for. But most time, I tell you what happens when I do that. I lie down. I normally take enough. I know the year for that one. I will still take enough. Even if once I notice it's water, because water is like medicine too. Once I take it, I know that I will urinate at least once or twice. So it's not a question of say, mama, I urinate 2-3 times, I urinate a lot. It will make me to urinate. Yes, let it make me urinate. I prefer to urinate than to have all the toxins stock up in my body and they're lying down, because I don't want to. I will urinate, but it will be for only that night. But I will be expecting it after taking my water. If I take one, it's not enough, I take another. That's what I do. But I will make sure I give the body that water that is asking for. If the moment that you are sure that it is water that your body is asking from you, don't say you wait till tomorrow morning. Don't say, oh, I don't want to urinate this night. If you also have an option to do that, to say you don't want to urinate, so you can just stay with dehydration. And I tell you, before daybreak, that dehydration could turn to headache. It could turn to other things. It could even, your blood sugar could even become more concentrated because of absence of water. Even the BP, everything. Because water, occupies most of the space in the body. And so we don't have to just allow the body to go without water. So that is it. And so some other times also, you could just wake up and you are wondering, why are you not going to back to sleep? It could be inflammations. So inflammations are hidden, some pains. I don't have any analgesic like paracetamol. I say it, and I've said that before. I don't have them. So, but there are a few occasions too, which I have observed over the years. Like recently now, I was going out on the shopping and I hit my big toe on something, I think in the market or somewhere, but I can't remember, but it was really, really painful. And so at the end of the day, I came back after everything, I lied down. I was awake, couldn't sleep, go to bed. Was wondering what was wrong. This has happened like twice. But I took my ginger oil. Look at ginger oil. You know, it's a master when it comes to pains. Ginger and turmeric are very, very good. Look at it. So this is ginger oil. You can see the thing. You can see the packet. No, how do I put it? Okay, you can see the ginger there. And so I didn't have to even dilute it. I just took a little of the ginger and put it on that place. Honestly, that was all. And massage it a little around that area that's paining. And then in a few minutes, I was off to sleep. I'm happy to report that. And that's not only the first time, it's not the second. I think about the fourth time that I'd used it to just stop that pain that I want to stop the sleep. Because if you don't stop it, you could just lie down. You won't know that there was pain. And that's why people who are used to drugs, people who are used to analgesics and all this stuff, once they don't sleep, the next thing they go for is for drugs, analgesics. Because why do they do that? They believe maybe it just works out for them that when they take it, they go to bed and they sleep. But the reason why they sleep is because there are hidden inflammations. You can even, before you go to bed, if you suspect that you've had a hectic day, you can actually make ginger and turmeric tea and take before you go to bed. If you have a good honey, you can just add a little. You're not going to have all those pains, all those inflammation. You're going to have a smooth flow of sleep. If you have a fresh ginger, fresh turmeric, you're able to make tea out of it and then take it. If you had a hectic day and you feel there will be pains hidden here, these things weren't so several years when we are growing up. But I tell you that these days, every little thing matters to us, causes us pain. Very little things causes us pain. And so that's why we need to have essential oils, some of the essential oils, if you have access to them, so that you can, use it topically when the need arises. Because if you say you want to eat, you want to have something at odd hour, it can give you a result you don't expect, such as hunger. So you wouldn't want to go out there, start preparing food, and you want to eat at 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. I think your body too won't be ready for that. And so that is about it. So you can apply things like ginger oil on it. Give it a slight gentle massage, whichever area it is. If you suspect it's inflammations, take water. You can also, turmeric is also good at it, but I tell you, the one that I know it works very well, ginger does that job for me. And I'm glad to even report that it's something I found out lately. Now, another occasion where you could wake up, just your eyes shining, and you are not able to return to sleep when you are experiencing poor blood circulation. Now, this thing also doesn't happen to kids, to younger people. You can sleep anywhere. But when your blood sugar, your blood pressure is not flowing well, the body won't take off on that journey of sleep. The body won't take off if the blood is not flowing. And that's the place to pay attention is the feet. Most of the nerves are connected to our feet. And so you look at your feet, give it a good massage. There are various points when you talk of this acupuncture and the rest of it. There are various points. But no, I'm not an expert in that area. But I know that when you massage the feet, it affects a lot of nerves positively, a lot of your health. Even you may feel it if you are sensitive. You are such a sensitive person like myself. You may feel the massage. Some of the organs has been affected. And so you look for, I have massage oil. I have this is my oil I mix with, the shea butter, I mix with coconut oil, my cold pressed coconut oil. I have the coconut oil here. And then I have various oils, as I said, for various occasions. And so using it to massage the feet. It mustn't be this one, but you can also use olive oil. You can use whichever one that you have within your region or your vicinity where you are. You can make use of it to massage your feet. And after massaging it, you need to cover that feet very well. Those of you who are who can wear socks, wear socks before you go to bed, you can do it. But me, I can't do it. It's difficult for me because sometimes it's even interfering with my blood flow. So you can use cloth or wrapper or blanket or any other one to cover your feet and keep it warm. And so once you keep your feet warm and massage your hands, these two regions, give your hands a good massage. By the time you finish these two things, and most times again, I massage, if it's poor blood circulation, I massage this area, and I massage this area with the lymph organs, lymph nodes. I massage them, then I massage my back, my ears, and all of that when it's poor blood circulation. And I do deep breathing. Yes, do deep breathing like this. I start breathing in like, after breathing in for 14 times, I start breathing out. But guess what? I always add essential oil on my pen before doing it. But that is not to say that you must do it. You must do that. And when I'm doing that, lemon oil is good for that one, especially if it's associated with stress. Some other oils like jasmine oil also is good for stress. If it's available, you can also drop it on your pen and use it to, do deep breathing. And then it's going to get into your cells and kind of give you some kind of relaxation. And then your body may be able to take off. That is when it is poor blood circulation. You don't have to get up and start looking for food. There are foods that can improve blood circulation. Rosemary tea can do it. Several other teas can help you to improve circulation. But it's not that you wake up at any odd hour of the night and you start looking for that. And there is one other oil that I use, which is black kernel oil. I occasionally use it when there's poor blood circulation and I suspect that there is cholesterol that is affecting it. Maybe had eaten too much of the red palm oil and all those stuff. I also used it on my belly button to help to, just rub it around gently to help to make to like, it helps to melt. It has a kind of, it has a profile that tends to thin out the blood and allow circulation and help with cholesterol. That's what I see. So it's always good to also to have it, something like that, handy at home. There are other times, like I have said, when you are not, you just suddenly wake up and you can't sleep. Maybe there was no fat in your diet. I know some people this may come as a surprise to you. How your brain makes use of fat to keep you asleep for longer and give you quality sleep. Now, but the point is, some people may not be having that experience. Our body are different. And then again, at other times, maybe while you are growing up, you weren't feeling all those things. But over the years now, as you get older, your body begins to be sensitive, so sensitive that when you did not consume healthy fat in your diet, healthy fats like olive oil, coconut oil, these are brain foods, healthy fats like avocados, almonds, healthy fats like, cashew nuts. When you don't have those fats, good fats in your diet, sometimes also you could wake up. There have been occasions also when I woke up, very rare occasions, when I wake up and I had to take a little olive oil, very little, coconut oil. Olive oil would have been a better one. But when it's not, you don't trust the olive oil or you don't even have it. Remember, coconut oil is very high in saturated fat. So it's not, those with heart issues should also be aware of it. Those with high cholesterol should be aware of it. So, but when your body needs a good fat and there's no other fat available, always make do with it. But the best option for me, if you have olive oil, is to take a little olive oil. It's going to help you to go back to sleep. If it's not before 12 midnight, because there are times when it happens and it's already past 3 a.m. I say, okay, let us kukuma stay awake. We don't wake. So let's just stay awake. If na prayer, we pray. If na meditation, we do. All of them, they're all part of it. And so, but this also happens when the waking up is already almost closer to dawn. So, but when it's not closer to dawn, well, then I begin to also do all of these things. If there's no fat in diet and I'm just awake, and sometimes you could even feel the message. You could feel it that your brain needs fat. You could just, the brain will send the body a signal. You just feel like eating peanuts. You feel like eating cashew nut. You feel like, but what I normally feel safer to eat is the almond. And on few occasions, because normally will soak it, but on few occasions, if it's not soaked, I just put it in the water and losing 1 or 2, and then chew it. It's a good source of magnesium. Low magnesium also can keep us awake. Low calcium and magnesium does that very, very well for older adults. And almond is the fruit, the nut I recommend very well. It doesn't do any harm. If you take it before, if you wake up and you notice you are not able to sleep, and you can soak it. Sometimes I don't even soak anymore for like hours. Just soak it like 45 minutes. And if you suspect you've not had sufficient calcium, maybe you have not taken milk for some days, not taking instead of all of that, you just soak some almond. Towards that time, once you wake up, you may suspect that your calcium is low, your magnesium is low. And so just take that. 2 is usually enough, 2 or 3. On one occasion, I had to take 1 and it was just okay. And so that's another occasion when your calcium is low, when your magnesium is low. You can always take almond to substitute for that without spiking your blood sugar without spiking your blood pressure. Remember, in all of this, when we are trying to take out of these remedies at all times, you must have mind on your blood sugar. You must also have mind on your blood pressure. You must have mind on your digestion and several other things, so that you don't try to solve one problem and then you now be creating another. So, yes, now at other times also, it may be that you've not had sufficient protein in your diet. And so in that case, all you need to do is to just to bear it and wait. So what you have to do is that the next day, you have to ensure that you include sufficient protein to resolve that imbalance. Since you observe that it actually kept you awake, it's one of the things that can actually sometimes keep us, you feel your body is too light. You know it, that your body is too light. Maybe you hadn't had sufficient protein. Protein is the building block. And when the body doesn't have protein to do the job, it won't take off. Because the moment we're asleep, the body is at work, building, repairing tissues. But when those materials are not there, the body won't do, it will not take off. It's very smart. And I think it's the handiwork of God. Yes, it's just like a builder, for instance, you want to start, you got all the materials. Sometimes you notice that some very critical materials are not available. You say you can't start. Because when you start this point, maybe you have put this particular thing. If you don't put the other one, something else is gonna go wrong. And so when you observe that that is what is going to happen, you will suggest or stop for the other items to be on ground. That's what our body does. So when some of these things are not in place, the body you won't sleep. There's no balance. You won't sleep. Just be awake. It has to be 50-50. Everybody must be on at his or her right position, so that when it's time to wake up, you will surely wake up. Because if these things are not there, you may not wake up. God is very, very, is smarter than any one of us. Drugs won't do it. It's when these things are in place, everything are in the rightful position and amount. That's only when the body decides to take off, because it has assured itself that it's going to come back from that journey. And so that's why when you suspect that things like protein are not in your diet, protein is very hard to digest. And so you won't go at odd hours of the night and start, eating beans, or because it's beans most of us know as protein. Of course, protein is even very hard to find. I've concluded that one of the most difficult food to find around is protein. Sometimes you'll be searching around your house, searching the shelf, everything is carbohydrates. You begin to wonder. And so at odd hours of the night, there's virtually almost nothing for you. If you suspect your body is asking for protein. And so you definitely won't want to take anything that will start giving you stomach gas or, gastric issues. The best thing to do is just to bear it and then wait. Most of us will rely on nuts like peanuts, which is sort of protein. But over the years too, you begin to go slow on it. Nut is something you can't wake up in the midnight and eat. But children can do it. Younger adults can do it and get away with it. But for you older adults, you can't wake up at midnight or even 9:30 or 10 o'clock and start to eat peanut, or groundnut as we call it. I remember I used to do that several years back. But I tell you, over the years, things are changing inside our body. So our body can't handle it again. You can't. There are a few occasions you can manage with cashew nut if you've not had it for a long time, but little. But then, because of the little protein that is there. Another food that, you can also take a little. Sesame seed is good. Then there is one oil too that I just thought of it now. And that's sesame seed oil. Sesame oil is good. when the protein is not there. But I find it, I can't find that oil again. Sesame oil is oil I have taken at odd hours when I wake up and I cannot go to bed, and I suspect that, but it's not all sesame oil, because I see so many sesame oil in the market that are far from the oil I'm talking. The sesame oil I'm talking is sesame essential oil. I've seen oils, they wrote sesame oil, but it's not the type that I'm talking about. But it's a sesame oil, and they have different brands. So if you get a good one, a good brand, is very good. I've taken it at odd hours without any effect and went to bed perfectly. When I suspect that it's protein that my body is looking for, I look around, there's no protein anywhere. You can't eat peanuts, you can't eat this, you can't. But I remember on each occasion when I took that sesame oil, just a little half cupful, in less than 30 minutes, I'm off to sleep. It became obvious to me that most times too, it's protein that is missing in the diet. That's why I had to include it in this list. That sometimes the absence of protein in the diet can keep you awake, because that's the building material, that's the building block. Your body doesn't have what to use and build, so it's waiting for you to supply. And a few occasions that I did that, honestly, it worked. It worked. Just a little, just drop, because it's an oil. And before you know it, I'm off to sleep. Honestly, I've been looking for that oil. I've not seen it. I've exhausted the one with me. Been going several times. I've gone in search of it. I've not seen it. It's an essential oil. There are other brands. Just a little. It works. Once you give your body that thing that is looking for that moment in the right amount, that's all. The next 30 minutes, you're off to sleep. You wake up feeling refreshed. So that is it. So if you suspect it's lack of protein, you may have to wait, and the next day you have to supply it, except on these few occasions when I had to make use of the sesame oil. It works for me, and I don't have it anymore. And then also, there are also occasions when too much acid in the stomach. That's stomach ulcer, I call it. I'm trying to add 1 or 2 extra because I'm rounding up now. So I'm trying to add 1 or 2 extra for us that are staying behind. So if your stomach is producing much acid, what do? Yes, some people will be having pains. I don't have pains. Acid, you just get up as if you are fainting, about fainting. Pulls you like you are about even to get up, like you are struggling to get up from the bed. Too much acid maybe from the stomach. What do? Now, recently there's something that's working out for me too, because it's also very difficult during that time to know what actually to do. But this one usually happens when you are about to sleep, not that you slept. Okay, sometimes also maybe you slept a little and you cannot, the acid is too much. The body is bringing it out, and there's no protein buffer to hold it. And then you just keep awake. And you can't just keep awake for too long, because it will look like you are fainting. If you don't do something, the body will be giving you a signal that you should go and eat. That's why some people say they eat by 3 a.m., 2 a.m. If you have something to take, go ahead. It's safer to do. If you're suspecting that acid that is coming up. But this finger millet that I started using is helping to stop, because it has some amount of protein, magnesium, good percentage of magnesium for the heart. There has calcium, and then it's plant-based. Apart from being plant-based, it has a lot of fiber, and it does not create a weight gain, because the thing we are trying to avoid is weight gain. I started using it recently, and I found it very, very good. Just little. If you suspect the stomach is bringing out acid more than it's supposed to, and it's interfering with your sleep. And I say you can also make fermented millet, but millet pap. If you have fermented millet pap, fermented food is good. A little, just little. It's not that you go and make a bowl of it and be drinking. No, just little to help to protect that place and provide some protein. Whatever you want to take, make sure there's protein there. That's the mistake a lot of people are making. Don't just go and start chewing on anything or fats like peanut. No, something that's plant-based that does not really have weight. easy to digest, won't produce gas, because that time the body is very, very sensitive. And so if you take something like fermented millet pap, little, it can help a little. But lately, I'm also using this finger millet if I want to. Anytime I feel that way. It's not all the time. Usually when you have taken peppers and some spicy food or some other teas continuously or in large amount without enough protein, it can start to happen. And so when it begins to happen, you need to, at all hour of the night, you don't need to be worried, you don't need to panic. Just know that it's one of those things, the balance is not there, and you need to do something about it. And that's what we're saying. You need to just find something that is plant-based, easy to digest, and something that won't stress the intestine. And just a little of it to let it stay. In the past, you could just take milk. We were living, that was the years of ignorance. When they say you have a stomach ulcer, you have this, we are drinking milk to cover it. But milk was actually also part of the problem, because it will be creating more acids on top of it. It's going to cover it temporarily, fine. You're going to feel like you're okay. But that's not the right form of feeling. It's not the right thing for you as an older adult. Yeah, for us. Yeah, there are certain of those things we were doing while growing up. You can't do it any longer. For instance, now, they will say mix milk and honey. You sleep like a baby. Can you mix milk and honey at 60, 65 years? And then you'll be sleeping like a baby. Milk and honey. It was making us sleep those days, but not anymore. You can't even go to milk even before you are 60, because it's acid forming. It's difficult to digest. A good number of us cannot take it. Then when you add the milk, the sugar in the milk and the sugar in the honey, it may rise your blood sugar. Whether you say you are not a diabetic or not, it may rise your blood sugar. Why? Because you are not going to be moving around at that time of the night with that amount of sugar pumped into your body. You're not going to move around. You're going to stay one place, and most likely you're going to lie down. And so your blood sugar will rise. And instead of you sleeping off like you used to do several years back, when you could just take, they say remedy for milk, for sleep. They say use milk, use banana and milk together, use honey and milk, all those stuff. It won't work for you now. Because instead of making you to sleep, it's going to keep you awake, going to spike your sugar. These are the things that have changed. And we need to understand these changes in our body, and then know the right foods to use to manage the sleep or our health without spiking our blood sugar. Because whatever happened, you must always have in mind that your blood sugar could be affected. There is no saying that, no, I'm not a diabetic, or I'm not a pre-diabetic, or this and that. You don't have to be. But your age has made it that your body cannot manage sugar effectively. And so those remedies that you read online or your people told you about, some younger generations may do and get away, but it won't work for us, including myself, because I'm not saying you, including me, it's no longer working for me. We're looking for better options. And I said the latest one I'm using, if I want to go to bed and I need to just put something in my stomach that won't spike my sugar, that won't cause me weight gain, I just use this finger millet and make it, it's just dark. This finger millet, when I take it, I just sleep off. It helps the sleep to go quickly, and the right fiber, when you wake up, you don't feel there's any weight added onto you. And your sugar is stable because it has protein in it, which the body needs for healing, and it has fiber, and then it's even gluten-free. It doesn't have gluten, because gluten will trouble your liver, will give the liver trouble. And so that's why I just added it these days to be using to help to manage situations occasionally when they come. And it's always good, my dear, to have some of these things around you. You don't have to wait for that day to come. You don't have to wait, say, until you are in a desperate situation. It could be at the night. Some of these things, this waking up at odd hours, sometimes they don't notify you. There are times when I just move around and I'll do everything, hoping to have a very good night's sleep. Guess what? Just lie down and the eyes are shining. And some of the occasions I've realized could be due to adrenal fatigue. And so if that happens and it lingers for that night, the next day I'll go for fish oil in order to prevent it. The adrenal fatigue, yes. When the body needs to rest, maybe you've overworked, you didn't take a break. I'm also a victim of this. If you didn't take a break during the day to relax a little, and then in the night, after all the thing, you just run and lie on your bed with the hope you're going to start snoring or cruising with your sleep. And surprisingly, sometimes, you just notice that you are awake. After 1 hour, you're still awake. So you'll be asking your body, what exactly do you want? Most times, or sometimes, adrenal fatigue. The body is just tired. It's just resting. And by the time you want to take off to sleep, most times it's around 4:30 when the body will have rested. And then everyone is already moving around, you are awake. And it turns out that you're going to be like a stress again. So these are some of the occasions. We are all in it. You just, you wake up and you are not happy. Whenever it happens, you are just displeased that you didn't really enjoy your sleep. Have you guys wondered why children, even little babies, when you interfere with their sleep, they keep crying. They cry and they won't allow you to rest. If you should interfere with their sleep, that's to tell you the importance of sleep. Young babies, less than 1 year, if there's anything they hate, is for you to interfere with their sleep. They will cry and cry and cry, and you will never want to try that again. You would rather prefer that baby to be asleep than for you to disturb that child when the child wanted to sleep. Although they know how to disturb their moms, but you can't disturb their own sleep. When you do, they keep crying. As a matter of fact, when they're about to when they're about to sleep, they cry and cry. Sometimes when the children are crying like that, crying and without a cause, I don't know I can't know the origin and the beginning and the end of it. And then when we were, younger those days, looking after babies, when you have fed the baby and you've done everything you could do, and the baby is still crying, the older mothers will tell us the baby wants to sleep. Go and give the baby a bath. And we normally do that. When we do that, the child will sleep, very deep and heavy sleep. Yes, that's it. That's to tell you how powerful sleep is. Whether it's the sleep beating the child or making the child to cry, I don't know. But something very serious is on the way. The child could feel it, they could perceive it. And then they start crying, disturbing. At times you feel like flogging the child. You have eaten. What else do you want? But the older mothers, then we are quite young. The older parents will call us and say that child wants to sleep. He has eaten. The limb is ready to sleep. So, but why do they have to cry? Cry and disturb you so much before they go to sleep. Just a little digression, but to let us know that don't joke with sleep. Don't allow anything to tamper with your sleep. So these few occasions are just a few of them. There could be more. You can have more things, but these are the ones that are most frequently occurring in my own case, and I'm very much aware of them, that they really, some of these tips and remedies I mentioned here have been working for me. Honestly, they have been working for me, and I want you to test some of them out. Yes, some of the tips that are working for me, Because those things that we are doing while growing up, that were making us to sleep, they can't work. And if you have been taking medications before you go to sleep, it's not the best. It's not the best. We all did it. I remember some of those medications. And even then, doctors were advising us that it's not good, but we normally like it. Why? Because sleep is sweet. We normally beg the doctor to sedate us so that we can be away from the stress that was around us, the problem. Because the sleep like gives you rest and away from thinking everything is off you. So in those days, we beg doctors to give us something that will make us to sleep. Doctor will be advising us that it's not the best. We'll be begging for it. But right now, you don't need medications, especially for older adults, in order for you to sleep. But if you can help your body to come to that balance, 50-50, on that equilibrium, that particular point where everything is in its rightful position, protein is in the right position, sugar is not excess, you have exercised during the day, you have rested too, to avoid fatigue, you have blood circulation sufficiently, and you have taken good fat in your diet, and you don't have too much acids in your body. I mean, acid that can interfere, and you don't have insulin resistance. Also, your BP is not high due to poor diet and other lifestyles. And all of this put together, if you have worked on them and ensure that your body is at the right balance, my dear, you will sleep. Yes, you will sleep. You will definitely sleep. You will sleep. And when you wake up, you'll be happy that you did. There are several other things. You may also drop your comment. If there are other, you may also drop your comment if there are other tricks that you have used to return back to sleep. You need to drop it for others. Someone may gain from it, because sleep is so important. So that's where we'll be ending the live for today. Don't forget to subscribe if you are coming this way for the first time. Thank you for coming. See you again.